Hi, and welcome to yet another Wackaflcka Explain. Today I'm going to try and explain something called parallel laning, or just parallel, whatever you want to call it. In bot lane as an ADC, I would say it's one of the most important things to understand in League of Legends as an ADC, because this knowledge that you gain from this video is something you can expand upon into the later stages of the game as a Twitch player. That will benefit you greatly into the later stages of the game, okay? But before anything, I hope you guys are having a good evening, good night, good morning, whichever one fits, shit like that. So yeah, let's get into the video. As I said, this is one of the most important things to understand as an ADC. And most likely as a support as well, right? It's to understand that you have to play parallel with your ADC or parallel with your support, okay? And what that means is, I'm going to display this with the enemy team, with dummies, okay? Because I don't have anyone, or I could get, but I think I'm able to show this just as well with dummies. The idea here, say they're both ranged, right? They play parallel, like this, right? They can both attack me. So at the moment, it's a 2v2, because they're playing parallel, okay? But say, one of these people is a bit stupid. They're playing like this. Like that, right? And their lane is like this. Now, they're not parallel in comparison to the lane. Now that guy, which could be the support ADC, is not parallel to this guy. So when I attack this guy currently, it's a 1v1. Because this person here is not able to reach me currently. So while I'm fighting this guy, you'll see this in all law games, you'll see this yourself when you play. You'll see a situation like this, okay? They'll be behind, this guy will be ahead. You hit this guy right now, at this very second, it's a 1v1. But this guy in the back here will catch up very quickly, right? So you have a few seconds, or maybe not even a second, to like actually do stuff here before they have to react. So at this moment, it's a 2v1, or sorry, 1v1, okay? So I attack this guy, but then the support moves up like this, right? Now it's a 2v1. Like now they're two people versus one. What do I do then? I run away, right? But at that moment that guy was behind, it was a 1v1, which is why I could trade, right? But the second this guy catches up to me, it's then a 2v1, so then I need to leave, right? And then the guy will go away again. Maybe they'll be like that again. And then it's a 1v1, right? So it's important to understand when you can trade with someone and not lose as much, or maybe gain even more. Because right now, I only spoke of me, right? But then imagine, this guy's here, that guy's here. I have a Lulu support or something, right? Now it's a 2v1. So me and my support attacks this guy. 2v1. Who will win a 2v1 scenario early game with equal stats and similar items and spells and everything? Most likely the people playing 2v1, right? So at this point, when they're standing like this, it's important to take advantage of that and attack this guy with your support. But this is difficult because unless you're playing duo, your support might be like that guy here, right? So it's not always like possible because of that, but it's also important to know of it and how it works, because you should always be playing as a unit, okay? So attack this guy with your support always, okay? And then the second this guy catches up, maybe you guys can pull back, or maybe you'll be too late and you'll kill this guy. There's so many clips of me on my stream or videos where I'm playing in lane and the enemy ADC dies because of that. The support is a bit behind, we go on that guy and they die because of that. And there's multiple times where I'll go in and my support will not go in with me and I'll die because of it, okay? So it's important to understand that you need to play parallel with your support, okay? Almost always. And in the same scenario, but in another mother, or another way rather, is this guy's here, support is here, right? I'm fighting them right now, fighting this guy. This guy might be a melee or something. He's gonna walk towards me this way here, following my cursor, right? But I attack this guy. This guy's walking towards me. I'll maybe, while I'm attacking this guy, I will also actively move away from this guy while still fighting this guy, right? So in this scenario, if he's walking towards me like this, I'm going to attack this guy and then move upwards here. Because what does that do? That creates more distance between the guy behind. So he's going to have to walk even further to catch up. But at one point he might catch up, right? So he's going to walk up here, following the spawn point here, right? He's going to walk towards me because I was standing here. He's going to come like that, then he's going to come up here. And at that point, it's going to be a 2v1 again. So then I'm going to pull out. Okay. And this is something I mentioned in my other video of how to carry with Twitch, is to line people up. And this is why it's important in later stages of the game, this is not in the lane, but later, to know how to position yourself to make the enemy not parallel, like say they're on dragon or something, and know how to draw them so you kind of like cone them inwards, right? Meaning that at this point here, when I pull backwards, if these both are coming towards me, at this point here, this guy will, if you follow my cursor, he's going to come like this, and he's going to come like that, right? So at this point here, they're going to be both stacked together. So when I walk backwards like this, and both of these come towards me, they're going to narrow like the gap between them. And who benefits from champions being narrow and standing in line? Twitch, of course, right? So by actively having this in your mind through the lane and later into the game, it's something you can take great advantage of, which is also why I say that in places like this, you want to go in a way where they can't come from other angles, because you can eventually line them up into positions like this where they'll get cleaved down by your ultimate and hurricane and everything else that you have. So understanding how to control the movement of your enemies, right? This guy might be here, this guy here, right? They're not parallel at the moment. I attack this guy won't hit me or punish me yet. So while I'm attacking this guy, either I pull backwards, making this guy follow me, right? Or I can go upwards. So it's when you play your next games now, just try and pay attention to where the support is standing and where the enemy ADC is standing. And if they're standing parallel like this, and you're in a position like this, then you don't want to fight them. But if you were then in a position like this here, then they're not parallel anymore, right? Because now this guy is behind, so now I can kill him, or at least damage him without getting punished or attacked by this guy. Yeah, right? So that's why playing parallel is always important, because it allows you to always take 2v2 trades or 2v1 trades. Okay? And the important thing then, and here comes a question as well, what's the only way to ensure that your support will fight with you, that you're going to fight 2v2? If you're not playing duo with them, what's the only way to ensure that the support will fight with you? Okay, this is a question. I want you guys to think about it for a second. There's only one right answer here, okay? So, only way for the support to fight with you. What's the only way to ensure that a random person will fight with you or fight alongside you? Okay. Right, so the only way to ensure that your support is going to fight with you, if you don't know them, is that they have to go in first. So here comes the difficult part about playing parallel. Something people won't often acknowledge. I was playing a game the other day in Flex. My support was Plat 1 something, and enemy support was Master 400 LP or something like that, right? My support was instantly intimidated by the fact of the LP or something, I'm not sure. But they were playing back here, right? Or maybe I should use my own dummy here. My support was playing like that, right? And they were playing like this. I could never fight. But if my support was standing here alongside me, I'm sure that we would have fought and won. But they didn't want to do that. So, do I then try to fight 2v2? Or 2v1, sorry, and just immediately almost always lose? Or do I just then acknowledge the fact that my support is playing back like this and just take the L? Or not really L, just play safe, you know? So when you can't control the actions of your teammates, then the only way to ensure that they will fight alongside you is to play with them, not expect them to play with you, right? So when you're playing in lane, and your support is standing somewhere, just play parallel with them, right? And that's the ultimate lesson here, is to always play parallel with your support. And don't walk up by yourself, because you have to understand the risk of walking up and facing enemies that are like this, where they're parallel. They're gonna... I'm in a 2v1 situation here immediately, okay? In early game, we all know how 2v1 situations end up. The people that 2 usually end up winning. Right? No amount of skill or anything will just outweigh the early game damage that people can put out, because you don't have items or the speed or anything to kind of make any play at all almost, right? So early game, something I have to work on as well is actually this. If I'm playing solo queue, I need to play more parallel with my support, because you just can't play without your support early game, and the only way to play with them or have them play with you is to play alongside them. Okay. And then also capitalize when you see the enemy playing like this. And I'm gonna demonstrate this later probably. I'm gonna play some games on my stream later, and I'll try and display this better. And I'll upload some short clips maybe on my YouTube channel to also display this in smaller clips and just talk over them. But this is just the overall idea here. It's kind of hard to understand. I'm also going to link a video below that also explains this in depth and probably a bit better. But it's also something, it's very important to understand, so I'm trying to make out here. And you can watch that video, and then that one's not that relevant to Twitch, so obviously mine is a bit more, saying that you can control the enemies, make them line up properly, and then you can spray them all down, right? And arguably, I think it is one of the most important things to know about League, or like the general idea of how to play the game, is to just acknowledge when it's a 1v1 situation, 2v2, 2v1, how to move enemies, kite away from them, which direction to go, because at the moment like this, it's pretty obvious which direction I should go if I want to avoid this guy, right? Then I need to go up here, okay? So if I'm in a situation like this, then, and I'm attacking this guy, it's obvious that I should go this way here, right? Because if I go this way here and fight this guy, then I'm gonna fight this guy here immediately. So always kite away from the people that you're not fighting, and also try to stay within range so you can attack the guy that you want to fight, okay? So when you understand this, you also kind of get an idea of how to like position yourself automatically, because you just get this engraved into your brain that you need to move away from the people that you're not attacking, and then at the same time attack this guy here while taking the least amount of damage possible. Right? Right. Nice. And if you watch this far, thank you. It's pretty long at the moment, but this is also why Yumi is so broken. Because what does Yumi do? She stands on you. And what does that mean? That means that she kind of removes the entire like idea or like required knowledge of parallel laning, but she's always with you. So when the enemy is like this, and you have a Yumi with you, you attack this guy, it's 2v2. You attack this guy here, it's 2v2, right? Because Yumi's always with you. It just it removes so much like understanding of the game just by having the champion with you at all times. And that's actually one of the more broken things about Yumi in lower elos, because people don't know how to take advantage of that, or like how to like punish it, right? Because they don't know how to position themselves. So the advantage that the person with Yumi will always have is that they will always fight 2v1 or 2v2, right? But when you understand that, and you know how to play parallel with your support, the Yumi's gonna be even worse again, okay? So yeah, it's just really fucking important to understand this parallel laning concept. That you always should play with parallel with your support, because you're always playing 2v whatever, then 2v1, 2v2, 2v3. So always just make sure that you parallel with your support. And the same way when you're retreating with your support, right? If they're getting attacked by the enemies and he's running, then you should attack while you're kiting backwards. And if they go on that person and they're not showing any sign of walking away, you need to go in and attack. If they're getting attacked, you need to walk up and attack as well. I see so many people do this. They get low. This enemy support will just run away because they're scared. But what they should do is just go in. You'll see this with Bat IRL. They go on his support, he's going to go in, he's going to probably ignite everything because he's not being focused, right? So that's another important part of this parallel laning concept. If they go on your support, you need to go in. I don't care. You need to go in. If they're half HP, you need to go in. Like, you can turn the fight so fast. And if they go on you again, same thing. Or you pull out then. Right? So there's so many things to understand here. It's very hard to, like, display. So I'm going to upload some short videos of this and just, like, display it better and just talk over them. Right? But this is the general idea of it. Always make sure to play 2v2, play parallel with your support. If you get attacked and your support doesn't attack and they just run, you need to run. Don't try and continue fighting. But if your support gets attacked, go in and attack, okay? But yeah, hopefully you guys get some understanding of this and understand what I mean. It's pretty simple, but at the same time very complex. But basically just parallel with support always. Force fights to be equal or in your favor, meaning that you either fight 2v2 like this because they're also parallel, or fight 2v1 because they're playing like this. So the second you see someone playing like this, you're free to attack this guy because it's 1v1 at the moment, right? But the second that guy is standing here, you don't want to trade, especially if your support is not there. Then you want to back off and wait for an opportunity later, right? So you can't blame your team because you can't control them. You don't know what they want to do. So if you want to blame your team, you have to play with them and do what they're doing. Right? And just, if your support's standing here, if your support is standing on the tower, stand here. It's fucking frustrating as fuck, but like, it's the only way to play the game properly is to just do this, and then perhaps you can ask them to play more aggressive or just stand further up. But if they stand here, the best option if you want to win the game and perform at your best is to stand next to them because they're not going to move. So yeah, it sucks, but that's just how it is. And it goes to the late stages in the game as well. Something I watched Midbeast say in this video, I'm not sure if I said already. But basically, when you're behind or like you're struggling, just play with your team. Just wait for them to do stuff and then follow them. Because you know in your heart and soul that you're going to follow your team if they go in, right? But you don't know if they will follow you if you go in. So just wait for them. Wait for them to make a move and then back them up, right? And that's what I think makes most players that climb because they're doing that. I see so many bad ADCs just being high elo or like high LP or whatever, but they're terrible at the game. But I think the only difference they have is that they play with their team. Like, they're not good individually, but they just follow the team and just go in, right? And that's basically all that's required. To just follow your team and yeah, that's it. Pretty simple actually. But yeah, hope you guys got something out of this. If not, then fuck it. I'll try and upload something better. But yeah, I hope you guys continue to have a good night. Have a good night, morning, evening, whichever one fits. Shit like that. This has been yet another Wackaflcka Explain. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.